You have worked with many, many musical talents. The pinnacle of what we're talking is your time with Prince in Paisley Park. So can you start off by telling us how that happened?
Sure. Everybody asks me that, and it was a stroke of luck, really. I mean, I had 8 years in New York. I was pretty much done with New York. I had gone to school there. I had really worked on a lot of Broadway plays, shows, and I felt like I needed a change. And so I happened to be at a woman's apartment doing something interior design. And I said, yeah, I'm going to be moving back to Minnesota. And she said, oh, I know someone who works for Prince. And I thought, wow, now that would be amazing. So because we knew the same people, because I had a reputation in New York that the main tailor knew the woman that I had been working with. And funny enough, it just happened that they needed a pattern maker. So I was hired sight unseen, and I went to Paisley Park within, oh my gosh, within a couple weeks, I guess.
And that was in 1990?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Spring of 1990, and then I worked with a fabulous woman, Helen Hyatt. She was his designer, Prince's designer, but also the head of the wardrobe department. So essentially she hired me. And she was, months in, she was getting ready to leave. And so she said, what do you think about showing Prince some of your designs? Because I had worked for her doing patterns, but also being a sketch artist for Helen. And she knew that I could sketch. She knew that I had plenty of ideas of my own. So we showed Prince my designs. I took some time and did some designs for him.
I can't imagine how intimidating that was.
It was exciting for me because as a designer, you look at what was the past, what is he doing now. You have to look at their touchstones. Certain people, like let's say Dolly Parton, she wants a slim waist. We know she has a bust. We know that she loves to wear the short skirts. So these are the things that are probably not going to change.
Right.
Prince was the same way. He loved a tight waist. He loved pants that were almost corseted, you know, high-waisted pants. He loved a very masculine silhouette, so wide shoulders, tiny wasp waist, and then of course he has that cute booty, you know, so you want to make sure that, you know, he's not going to wear baggy pants or anything. I mean, he had in the past, but I decided, what, in a perfect world, what would I like to see him wear? And I just did what I wanted to do, and he liked it. As Paisley Park itself, you know, was a world really unto itself. It was his idea of, like, every pocket, every area of Paisley Park was completely infused with creativity and his vision, really. So we were there to help him along the way. And the thing about it is, of course, it was in Chanhassen, Minnesota, which is like a suburb of Minneapolis. And how do you get all these fabulous, incredible fabrics? Well, over time, we had built up, even before me, we had built up, at that time, it was mail order. Think about this. We did everything without computers, without the aid of
the
internet.
Yeah.
I keep saying, gosh, I wish I had more pictures from there. Well, guess what? We didn't have pictures on our cameras on our phones or anything either. So it was a different time, but we had fabulous access to these incredible fabric companies all over the world, really. So we had them sent to us. They sent us swatches, and I would get, sometimes I would request things like, he really needs shirt fabrics, or he really needs some beautiful silks. You know, we would pinpoint what we needed, and then we would call the people. I remember one in particular was Britex Fabrics in
San Francisco.
Yes,
yeah.
And they were just heavenly because they loved the relationship that we had, and they would send us things all the time.
That's great.
Yeah. Yes, this is one of my favorites that I did, and you can see you know, I had sketched it in magenta. We had come up with some colors that he loved. He loved magenta. He was very much into also a citron yellow at the time. That was his favorite, but he went for purples again, any type of purple, and he loved the bright colors. So I would start out with a sketch, and he would, let's say he approved it, which he did for this one, because nowadays in film especially, a lot of designers need to the help of sketch artists and concept artists, because the time, you know, and there are so many costumes and everything.
Right.
I was very lucky to be able to sketch my own, and I had the time to do that. Now, about the fabrics, he loved silks, and so we used 4-ply silk crepe a lot. That's what this suit is. And I decided, okay, he wants a Nehru jacket. I think this came from, he had asked for a bunch of sketches of Nehru jackets, and I said, oh, but it's so covered up, because his body was, he wore a lot of veiling things early on, of course, but then now he was starting to get a little bit more tailored and a little bit more covered up. And for this one, I thought, no, I want windows into that beautiful body. So I did a cutwork embroidery, which was with organza. So it was sheer organza, and you can see right here that this, you could see it through there, so it was sheer.
Beautiful.
And he loved it. We made it in so many different colors.
That's
and you
beautiful.
can see on the poster there that was a yellow. We did it in magenta. We did it in, I believe we did it in black. I think we did it in white.
Where are these costumes now? Where are these wardrobes?
These costumes reside in Paisley Park, the museum there.
Oh,
They have an archives there, and I've been invited there once, which was so exciting, with Vogue magazine.
Oh, great.
And I was able to open up boxes and see the things that, you know, they had so lovingly put in there, and they're restoring and preserving them. So I was just really happy to see that happening.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And they put them from time to time out on exhibition?
They do.
So tell us a little bit more about this beautiful piece and the sketch that you have for that as well.
This became one of his real trademark suits, because he decided he saw it, he approved it, we made one. And he decided that he was going to wear it on tour. So we quickly made more for him in different colorways. And we were making a lot of videos at the time. One was Sexy MF, okay? And we made it in black with white detailing. And this is all applique. It's ultra suede. And this technique was being used by Helen prior to me being there, and it worked so well. Remember that there was a time where there were words going down his sleeves, and he was like Minneapolis, let's say, and so they needed something that would not be so labor intensive as embroidery, but something that could get the effect and be very graphic, and that's what
and also survive. Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, it's amazing to see even just the piping technique.
Yeah.
It's very labor intensive, even though it wasn't as labor intensive as embroidery.
Yes.
Beautiful.
And with this, I decided that he should have buttons in his life again. I mean, he was always a button fanatic, and especially during the Love Sexy era, I mean, he was wearing big, small, chunky buttons, and I saw an old picture of him, the very one of the first performances he ever did, and it was buttons all the way down, and I said, I'm going to do buttons again for him. And so I called this the Million Button Jacket.
That's great.
He loved it, so we went with it. And
they're not functional buttons, they're decorative.
That's right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I love
Thank
the
you.
color blocking on that. It's just beautiful. High contrast.
Thank you. Yeah, he loved this because, again, 4-ply silk crepe, it clung to his body, and it even like the flaps here on the jacket, peplum, could just kind of fly when he was doing, you know, turns and everything, and he just really liked that.
The tailoring is amazing. I mean, it literally
Yes.
looks like you spray painted a lot of clothing on him.
Yes, he had the most incredible tailors. The head tailor was Jim Sharon. Jim Sharon, I have to credit him with so much of what you see in terms of fit, because Prince did not like to have fittings. So if he said make it tighter or make it looser or do this or do that, Jim had to know his body. You know, Jim had to go, okay, he says make it tighter. What does that mean? And he had to do it himself. You know, but he oversaw a fantastic group of people.
This costume.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Well, this again was another time that Vogue came to town, and Vogue, this was awesome because this is the incredible photographer Herb Ritz, and Herb Ritz, I got to meet him. I was just blown away because he was one of my, you know, my heroes, and so Herb Ritz was doing this for Vogue magazine. And we had some wonderful times. Prince changed into a few different, I mean, I call them costumes. He didn't necessarily like to call them costumes, but if they were on the stage or if they were in a video, they're costumes.
Right.
But he wore a lot of this too for his own pleasure, you know, or an after show or something like this.
But what a wonderful fabric to work with, because for performance it's air conditioned naturally, right?
What I decided for him is that he needed to get back into laces, and you know, for with Purple Rain and everything, he wore the very fine laces, and it was beautiful. Now, this was the early 90s, and I said I was finding some beautiful, really chunky French laces, swirling laces, and I said this is a way for him to still wear laces, but also it's a bit more strong, more masculine, and even with one of them that had like beautiful flowers and everything, it was, as he was so good at being masculine and feminine, being both of those, and exuding that sort of feminine energy, but still retaining his masculinity. Yeah, it was phenomenal. So that's what that was. Beautiful.
I love that. Yeah, that's beautiful.
This was one of my first assignments for Prince. Was he said, I want myself and the band in black and white. And so I did a bunch of sketches for the band members and a few things for him in black and white. He ended up using these in the Diamonds and Pearls era, and this was for the Cream video, which was of the same album and the same era, and so you can see this in the Cream video.
Beautiful. And then this one, which shows another jumpsuit, right?
Yeah, this was exciting because this is one of the pictures. Remember I told you I was invited to make some initial sketches for him? This is one of them.
Wow.
And look at see, he's got his long hair here. Funny enough, he had his long hair for Graffiti Bridge era, which was and I think he had it also on the nude tour when I had first got there. Well, guess what? This is him in the same jumpsuit, but with his hair now cut. And so these were very close together, but he had made the decision to cut his hair.
Great. And you did it in red and in black.
Yep, red, black, and I think we yellow. And the night of his, he did the famous The Butt Out, right? From MTV Music Awards. Well,
91.
In going to, he didn't want to wear the suit with the buns out, right? So he ended up wearing the yellow one over the bolero jacket. So it was very cool because he could be comfortable, but when he got up on stage, then that's when he did the reveal in the other pants.
Did you design the butt out?
Yeah. Well, that was his idea.
Concept?
I have to say that was his concept. We worked with some of the yellow guipure lace that, well, we dyed it actually. We dyed it because it was very, very quick. He said, I want something with the buns out. I want it with lace. It should be lace and it should be yellow. So he said that what he wanted, and then we, along with my incredible wardrobe director, Heidi Presnell, her name was Heidi Presnell at the time, she and I worked together to look at what we had for fabrics and everything. We decided what needed to be dyed, and we had our dyer, Marlis Jensen.
The evolution of you as a multimedia artist.
Yeah.
You currently are still doing specialty costumes for film and sometimes television, right?
Yeah, sure.
But that you are creating, you have your own website where you sell these fantasy pieces.
Oh, yes.
And feathers are something that that are a passion of yours. And I just want to mention that I'm very lucky. Stacia and I have known each other about 20 years.
Yeah.
And in the 20 years that we've interacted and have become friends, I've been privy to her quirkiness. And one of the things is your love of birds. You've had some beautiful bird personalities in your life.
Yes, I have. I love birds. I love the seemingly the magical quality of flight, and bird feathers are very magical as well. Humane. Luckily, there's laws in place protecting the more exotic birds. Most of the feathers that we use today are from the food trade, or the food industry, you know. So they, I'm advocating for humane treatment of the animals while they're in captivity, and I'm strongly advocating for that. We do use the feathers, which is lovely, and I'm just in love with feathers.
Yeah, you were mentioned in a recent article in Vanity Fair magazine.
Yes.
As a favorite of Lisa Eisner.
Oh yeah,
and
sure.
so for those of you who know who Lisa Eisner is, she's definitely an influencer, but she's also a muse of Tom Ford. And so for her to mention you and your cape, your fantasy cape, was lovely.
I was just blown away by that. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I love Lisa. I love working with her.
Yeah. I want to thank you for taking the time to join us in our conversation. And I want to mention to you that we are in the process of getting ready to relocate the business. We're currently closed now on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, by appointment only those days, but still open on La Brea Thursday through Sunday. And stay tuned for the updates. I'm very close to signing a lease, and hopefully we'll be able to give you that update in the next video. So if you like this video, thumbs up. Please share it with your friends, because Prince is a hot topic. And if you want to subscribe, that's an easy button for you to find on this video. And thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you again, hopefully sometime soon. Bye. Bye.